I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
I've never been opened up so wide. It's new with you. I've always kept secrets jailed inside of me, but I had to hide from you. Never told all there is to tell. It's true with you. A lost, lonely child who had to dwell alone, never had a home till within illusions. Ooh, fearful of intrusion. Ooh, dungeon deep inside of me. I thought I'd lost the key. The truth has set me free. It feels like you raised me from the dead. I'm new with you. Feels like I'm crazy, but I know instead I'm finally going sane. Risking past recover. Ooh, wake up to simplicity. I just learned how to see. The truth has set me free. Ooh, let my heart be broken. To see, love has set us free. Ooh, dying to awaken. Ooh, let my heart be shaken. Ooh, all I need is this love. To be, the truth has set me free. Set me free. Set me free. My heart is open. Heart is open. The dawn is broken. Dawn is broken. Set me free. Set me free. Set me free.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Let's hear it again for Robin and Marianne. Oh my gosh. I stumbled clumsily, unable to see beyond the next step in front of me, lost in this darkness that clung like a shroud. I despaired. Was there no way out? With tentative hands, I felt all around, searching for exits, though none could be found. The shadows crept closer, whispering my fears. I fell to my knees as sadness spilled tears. And then a soft voice echoed within. You cannot escape, for the dark is not a sin. Those fears you reject, don't push them away. Embrace them with love, for they're here to stay. I stopped running and turned to the night, opening my heart as I breathe in its plight. The shadows unfolded in my arms as friends. Their meaning revealed. My soul healed, did mend. Stepping forward, no need to pretend. I walked without fear, knowing the shadows would lend a way to the truth I denied for so long. In darkness, I found my inner light strong. Over 600 years ago, the mystic Catherine of Siena offered wisdom that still resonates with us today. Catherine was a 14th century mystic, philosopher, and a theologian who wrote extensively about spirituality and advocated for church reform. She was known for her faith, for her wisdom, for her courage, and she famously said, "It's only through shadows that one comes to know the light." Catherine emphasized the importance of acknowledging and integrating the parts of ourselves that we see as negative, unacceptable, even shameful. In her writings, Catherine stressed the need for courage, for self-reflection, for humility, and for contemplation of one's flaws and weaknesses. She emphasized holistic self-acceptance as a key to spiritual development. She exemplified a philosophy of embracing the light, embracing the darkness, and finding them within oneself. And she knew that when we discover the light and the dark within ourselves, then we could be our fullness of light and love. So in Catherine's spirit of inner wholeness, let's explore the shadow, shall we? Yeah. Are you ready? Because we're going to find that in that shadow, there is power. And that shadow is here to guide us, to remind us of the truth of who we are. It's here to remind us of our purpose. It's here to remind us to be authentic. It reminds us that we are divine beings unfolding. And when we unfold, we can walk this journey through the woods that sometimes seem scary. When we embrace our shadow, it's all of humanity that shines through us and as us. We discover our purpose, our power, and we discover that we are divine beings expressing in this world. So I ask you, what mask are you wearing? I knew you were all going to be here today. And so through AI, I was able to access your picture with your mask. So find yourself in the picture because you are there. And only the shadow knows. And we all hide behind these masks. So what is your mask? I hope that today you'll uncover it and pull it aside because you will discover that behind that mask is your power. So how do we recognize it? Well, I've got some examples of shadow feelings that a person might have, that you might have, and the mask that perhaps you wear in front of that feeling. You might feel afraid of rejection. If so, your mask might say, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm totally sufficient on my own. Ever said that? Ever felt that? Or your shadow feeling might be, oh, I'm so lonely. I wish I could find somebody to love me. The mask could be, I have plenty of relationships. I am independent. I don't need intimacy. Or perhaps your shadow feels inadequate or depleted. The mask might be, I have unlimited motivation. I have unlimited passion. I am connected to myself. Or the shadow might be, oh, I feel kind of insecure. And the mask might be, you know what? I am 100% confident in myself. I don't have any doubts. I don't have any weaknesses. So observe me how I am. That we wear these masks because they're socially acceptable. Right? They're an acceptable image that we wear to cover up the parts of ourselves that we might think are shameful or negative. But bringing the awareness of the masks that we wear will help us discover the truth of who we are. Because our masks are here as a reflection of this truth. Catherine believed strongly that God dwells in every one of us. I love that, right? Because back in that time, that was not an accepted point of view, to believe that God was in everyone and everything. Yet she believed that. But she often believed, or she did believe, that we often block access to that divine light within us by ignoring the parts of ourselves that we deem unacceptable. She taught that each person has a shadow self, those aspects that we try to hide or we try to push away or we feel ashamed of, like the emotions that we try to push away and not feel, the doubts and the fears and the flaws of past mistakes. She taught that ignoring our shadow allows it to control us unconsciously. So if we're not empowering ourselves, our shadow self will control us. I know you've never done this, but some people project their feelings onto other people. Right? And say, oh, it's your fault that I'm hurting, right? Oh, you did this to me. That's why I feel this way, right? And these are all evidences that we are projecting out there because we haven't dealt with our own shadow. Catherine encouraged people to acknowledge their shadows with courage and compassion rather than fighting with them and pushing them away. You know, by owning our shadows without judgment, we integrate the aspects of the shadow, which are parts of us, into ourselves. We integrate it. And this removes the blocks to our inner light. Catherine led by example. She openly acknowledged and took responsibility for her own faults, for her own impatience, for her own stubbornness, and for her own pride. She believed that the path to enlightenment was through embracing the entirety of who we are, embracing the light, the dark, and the unknown shadows of our psyche. She taught that divine light and wisdom emerge as we totally accept all the facets of ourselves with grace, and that wholeness is our natural condition when we allow it to shine. In essence, Catherine taught that courageously owning our shadow removes the blocks so we can express our divinity. Don't you want that? Right? To be the truth of who you are. So I'm hoping today that we can discover what are those shadows that are keeping us, me, you, from expressing the truth of who we are. Because if we have these beliefs in our subconscious mind, they can run us and we can find ourselves living sort of out of tune or not living in the moment. When I was working in sales years ago, someone said, you know, Blaine, if you really tried, you could be a great salesperson. Right? And I think that they meant that as a compliment. Right? But it pissed me off, right? And I wasn't quite sure why it got to me, right? But it got to me, and I was like, oh, thanks a lot. Actually, you know, I just try to, oh, don't worry about it, you know, oh, it's no big deal. It doesn't really make me angry. Well, it really made me angry. Admittedly, I've struggled with feelings of not being good enough, of being profoundly insecure. I've been living with a never enough narrative in my life. Anybody else? I think it's pretty common for us to think, you know, I'm never enough. I can never be enough. I can never do enough. Ever hear those little voices? Yeah. If you only did more, if you only said this, if you didn't say that, yeah. And as a result, I found myself overworking, people-pleasing, and in constant self-criticism of myself. Anybody else? Within each of us resides what psychologists and spiritual teachers call our shadow self. This refers to the inner world, that part of us that we try to bury, right? It's pretty common for people not to state the things that I just stated about myself, because our ego is afraid that if I tell you how I was, you're going to judge me now based on how I was then, right? And you probably are. Or no, you're probably not. Hopefully you're not, right? But that's what we're afraid of. If we are vulnerable, we're afraid that somebody is going to use that again on us another time and attack that vulnerability, right? But the truth of it is, when we are vulnerable, we open ourselves up so we can be real. I can tell you, this is how I really feel. And you might say to me, wow, Rev, this is how I really feel. And then we make this connection that allows our light to shine, as opposed to holding it back and just pretending that everything's cool. Of course, we do have to be discriminating, right? You can't just walk down the street and tell every stranger all your problems, right? But it's valuable for us to experience them and to talk about them with people that we trust. You know, our shadow holds tremendous wisdom. It's been with us forever. So it knows the places where we're vulnerable. It knows the possibilities within us. And I really believe that shadow self is really about, I want to help you, right? I want to tell you a secret, right? But it doesn't always do a great job of doing that. Because oftentimes it tells us and it feels like, rah, right? It feels scary and we want to push it away. So what we're talking about today is how can we open this communication between ourselves and our shadow self so that we have a different relationship with it. So how do we recognize the shadow when it shows up? Well, here's some examples. We might have strong negative emotions that arise instantaneously. Ever had that happen? Ever find yourself getting mad at something or yourself? That's probably your shadow saying, okay, there's something for you to learn here, right? Ever have judgments of anybody else or projecting on something on somebody else? Hello, it's the shadow. Some of you aren't smiling. This is supposed to be fun, right? This isn't a pre-Halloween message to try and scare you. Hello is the shadow that knows. So when we are hiding the shadow, sometimes we sabotage ourselves. We become addicted to situations, to substances, right? And that addiction is a signal from our shadow that it's time to wake up. It's time to see what's going on. Sometimes, and there probably are some of you right now going, you know what, Rev, this ain't about me. Right? This is all your stuff. Well, you're projecting for one thing, but denial, right? If you're in denial and you're saying, this ain't me, then it's the shadow. Yippee! Isn't it great? You just love it. Or another thing is, you're like, oh, no, it ain't me. And, I don't need to work on myself, right? I'm here and I've done my work and everything's cool. Right? Well, resistance is another sign that the shadow is there. That shadow part of us, or our reaction to the shadow, wants to escape. Right? You didn't see the people that were sitting back there that got up and left, right? You know why? Because it was hitting them close to home. Actually, nobody left. And in my imagination, they did. I was trying to chase them out of here, actually. Remember what Catherine said, it's only through our shadows that we come to know the light. So our shadow work helps us to remove the mask so we can embrace the shadow, embrace all of ourselves so that we can be our full persons. So, oh my goodness. I love the characters in this picture. Isn't that great? This is what it looks like when the shadow speaks to us. It can feel like we're in a room full of wild characters, right? And that's the first sign of what we can do when the shadow is speaking to us. We can recognize, oh, I see what's happening. My shadow has arrived. Oh, doesn't it feel great? Because it's only in our shadows that we come to know ourselves. So the first thing that we realize is that, our shadow has shown up. Here it is. I can breathe into it, recognize it, and then we know, we got some work to do. And you're probably alone. You're probably the only one in here that has any work to do. So what is the second thing that we can do? We can realize that our shadow is what brings us to the light. It's by discovering those shadows within us that help us remember, I got some work to do. I can love myself. Are you feeling uneasy yet? Okay. Welcome to your shadow self. So what can we do when we meet the shadow? Catherine encourages people to acknowledge their shadows with courage and compassion, rather than fighting against it and trying to push it away. She says, realize when those tricky shadows come knocking, remember they're just parts of yourself, asking for understanding. Meeting them with an open heart is the quickest way to move through them. And I like the idea of just hugging it, right? If you're next time you're someplace and somebody pushes your buttons, and of course it's somebody, right? Then just imagine that you can hug yourself, right? When you feel that desire to have a moment, and you know what I'm talking about a moment, right? The stuff that we discussed earlier, get angry, get afraid, run. Instead of doing that, take a breath and either hold yourself or imagine that you can hold yourself and just love yourself, because this is just the shadow saying, hello, I'm here. I'm really here to love you. And the more that we learn to embrace our shadow and be with our shadow, the less time we spend reacting, right? And how does that reacting stuff ever work? Have you ever discovered that creates any healing within yourself? Right? It creates distance, because most of the time when we react, we're blaming someone or something else outside of ourselves for the disturbance that's happening on the inside. So if just imagine holding it and loving it and saying, okay, I got you. I'm here for you. Ever done that with somebody that you had a difficult time with, to hold them and tell them, I'm here for you, I love you? It changes the relationship instantly, doesn't it? It's the same thing when we hold ourselves. It's like, I love you. Our shadow is really like an angel, you know? It's like an angel that knows all of our secrets and has shown up to say, okay, just breathe, just relax. I'm here for you. We got this. I'm here for you. The shadow says, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. And the third thing that we can do is to listen for the shadow's insight. Rather than chasing away, what if you said, tell me more. Tell me what you are here to show me. Catherine taught that divine light and wisdom emerge as we lovingly accept all facets of ourself with grace, wholeness, and allow our shadow to radiate. Our divine selves have so much wisdom to share if we just take the time to listen. And the shadow is here to remind us to connect with our divine self. You know, when this person said that statement to me earlier in my talk, Blaine, you be a great salesperson if you if you really tried harder. I didn't realize it in that moment. It took me actually years to figure it out, to look back at it and go, you know, what my shadow told me was, you know, Blaine, you are not operating at your highest level. You are not doing the thing that you're passionate about, right? And I spent 15 years of my life in sales, and I disliked every day, right? But I still did it because the money was good. I had a company car. I had an expense account, but I hated it, right? I hated getting up in the morning. I hated making my sales calls. I did it. I did it with a smile, a mask I was wearing to say everything is great. But the truth of it is, I was hiding my essence, right? My spirit, my heart, my soul wanted to do something with more passion, where I brought more value. You know, I felt some of that when I was teaching. I felt like, wow, I'm contributing. You know, in doing this work, I feel like I'm contributing. And way back then, my soul was saying, I'm not happy. And it took somebody else to point it out to me. And it's so funny because I got mad at that person, right? Who was offering me a gift. I got mad at my shadow and it was offering me a gift. So rather than pushing the shadows away, to ask them, what is it you're here to tell me? Why am I feeling this way? What is it that Spirit wants from me? So I've got I imagine, I hope you are thinking about your shadows and what they mean to you. But I've got a couple examples of what some people might be afraid of and what the shadow might be revealing. So if you're afraid of rejection, your shadow may be revealing that you need to open up and share yourself with others. You know, and of course, there could be other reasons as well. But this is a possibility. If we're afraid of something, there's a message there. If we're afraid of being rejected, it could be because we're not sharing ourselves out of our fullness. If you're desiring of affection and you're feeling you're not getting it, it could be that you need to have more self-acceptance. If you're feeling inadequate or you're feeling depleted, your shadow may be telling you that you've been neglecting your needs. Right? Because if we're feeling depleted, if we're feeling dejected, if we're feeling inadequate, it's probably because we're not doing the thing that we need to be doing. We're not fulfilling our own needs. And the shadow says, you need to take care of yourself. If you're feeling inadequate, you need to take care of yourself. And if you're feeling insecure, like I was, I believe it's because I was ignoring my inner light, right? If we're feeling insecure, it could be because we're not doing that which we are supposed to be doing. We're not shining our light. And the fourth thing that we can do to own our shadow, I had all those written up there, is to thank our shadow selves. To thank our shadow selves. You know, instead of pushing it away, to say, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing this to me. You see, this is really about building a relationship, isn't it? It's about building a relationship with our whole self. To say, thank you. Oh, I'm so grateful for you. You might say something like, oh, dear shadow, I know that you're a part of me that's hurting, and in need of care. Though your ways of trying to protect me may seem extreme at times, please know that I recognize that your intentions reflect great love. And that is your desire, my desire, to be encouraged to do something different. Please forgive me for not recognizing you sooner. And that I know that your care for me comes out of a loyalty and a love for me, and not out of malice, but you're really here to help me be the fullest that I can be. Thank you for being there. Even though I have rejected you or pushed you away at times, I accept you. I accept myself. You, me, are a precious gift to me. And I am ready to listen to all that you have to share. I know and I recognize now that the shadow that revealed to me that I wasn't expressing my gifts. I wasn't living my life fully. I wasn't being successful. I was kind of successful, but I wasn't really successful because I wasn't successful here. I wasn't as creative or passionate or as powerful as I could be. So as we conclude today, I hope that you're inspired to bring a better awareness to your shadow. And I hope that you're willing to be with it and to be compassionate and to love all the aspects of yourself, to embrace the truth of who you are, to take off the mask, to live your life in integrity with purpose and joy and with peace. Trust that by taking small steps, because this isn't always an instantaneous adventure with our shadow. Lots of times it takes time and exploration and communication. But I hope that you have a sense of hope and beauty for the freedom that awaits you. I hope that you're no longer divided. I hope that you find peace within yourself and you express that peace and that light with the world. And to know that you are divinely loved and that your shadow loves you. And I encourage you to love all of yourself, every bit of yourself, even the things that feel painful and hurtful, but to embrace them. Because it's in that embrace that you discover that divine light that is the truth of who you are. As Catherine said, it's only through shadows that one comes to know the light. I invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out. And feel that loving light within you, that divine self, that powerful beacon of love and light that is the center of your beingness. And let's take a journey together. As you continue to breathe, let's imagine that we're walking through an enchanted forest. There is colorful beacons of light everywhere. It is night, it is dark. But there are many beautiful, colorful lights. And this is a safe place. It's a place of transformation. A place that welcomes you with awareness. A place that you know you are safe. And imagine that you're aware of a presence. Maybe like a warm and friendly shadow. It seems separate, but it's part of you. And as you walk, you're feeling the closeness with this shadow self. And this shadow holds you. It holds you so close that you realize that you are one with it. And you feel a voice that says, I love you. I am you. I am the light, I am the darkness. I have something to tell you. I want to tell you how much I know you and how much I love you. You see, we've been together a long time. And there's something powerful that wants to be expressed as you. And in a moment, I'm going to whisper it to you. Only to you. And I hope that you'll hold this truth in your heart. And as you walk, united with the shadow, it whispers to you words that only you can hear. I can't say them, but your shadow knows. And not knowing if you heard it the first time, the shadow whispers it again. And as you embrace this truth, the inner light of your beingness lights up and glows and moves into every space, every tissue, every cell, every thought, every feeling. as you recognize your light. So let's just bathe in this light for a moment or two in the silence. Breathing in and breathing out. Gently bring your awareness back to this moment. Owning my shadow allows my inner light to glow. And I invite you to open your eyes when you're ready.
So now's the time that we do the offering. So if you feel so inclined to support this ministry and give something from your abundance to share with us, then that's what we'll do now. They'll be passing the basket in a minute. And you know the routine. It's an abundant universe. We are so blessed. And as we walk around, we feel that flow come into us. And it's a wonderful gift to be able to give something back if you have it to give and you feel it, and this ministry works for you and the music and the message touches you, then it's great to contribute back to that. So just go ahead and hold whatever you feel like offering in your hand, and together we will say the offering prayer, which is, through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing infinite supply. There's lots of ways to give. If you're not here, there's a button on our website. You can easily donate through PayPal. We go old school. You can mail us a check if you like. That'd be fine too. So thank you for whatever you feel called to do. And Al's going to pass the basket now, and we'll have a little beautiful music to go with it. Loving Spirit, we're so thankful for this blessing, this ability to receive, this ability to exchange the magic symbols of value with each other. and to use our consciousness and our abundance to contribute to making Maui a better place and making our state a better place and our country and our world and our universe. Because the same spirit of giving, the same spirit of let's grow something wonderful together has no beginning and no end, and it just is an extension of our consciousness. So Unity of Maui gratefully receives your gift and will use it to the highest purposes. And we tithe on it ourselves and continue that flow and abundance. So thank you. And we know that it is a blessing, and so it is. Thank you. All right, announcement time. Look at those beautiful AI pictures that Reverend Blaine makes. Man, he's got the key to the kingdom. When he was a salesman and a speaker, and now he's suddenly become an artist too. So we are so blessed. And as a matter of fact, he did the flowers today. He created them in AI and on a 3D printer. He used his imagination to just make them appear here. And if you have a strong imagination, you'll believe what I just told you. But if you would like to donate flowers, you're always welcome to. And there's a sign-up sheet in the back. So if you feel called to donate some flowers some Sunday, bring them in, share them with us, and take them home at the end of the day and enjoy them the rest of the week yourself. So we're always grateful to receive those. And if this is feeling good to you, if this is the kind of church that you want to be a part of, well, good news, it's membership class time again, and that's going to be next Sunday. So if you've been thinking about becoming a member, come to the class, check it out, and you'll probably hear a lot of good things. I did and signed right up last year. So highly recommended. After service tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. So come check us out and see if you'd like to be a card-carrying member of Unity. The Kundalini meditation and Shakti transmissions continue every week. That's Prashanti that holds that. It's a weekly class with a talk and Kundalini meditation. It's free, but they'll always accept some donations. And that's on Tuesdays right here at the sanctuary. So every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7:15. So if you want a little evening blessing on Tuesday nights, please come for that. And we have a thing called the Walk Your Talk, which is a summary of all that great information in case you were so transformed or dealing with your shadow self or whatever while Blaine was talking. He prints it out for you so you can have a copy yourself to take home and review it and get your shadow in a corner and say, see, this is what he said, or whatever you need to do. That Walk Your Talk is back there. And next week, Blaine will be back with another great talk, and there's no way I could do it justice, so I'll let him come back up and tell us what's going to be happening for next week, Sunday.
All right. Let's give a hand to Adam, huh? The master of ceremonies today, I'll tell you. Thank you, Adam, for all you do. Well, this next week is the final talk in this 5-talk series that I've been doing that I'm calling Ancient Wisdom for an Enlightened Life. And wow, I've enjoyed this series so much. Of course, I do it for me, right? And I've enjoyed getting to know each of these people. And next week, we're doing it on Rumi. Rumi is one of my favorite teachers, an amazing poet. And as you might guess, the talk next week is on love. And I'm calling it The Lover's Journey, Travels with Rumi on the Path of Love. And so we'll be looking at some of his poetry and then kind of looking at what is he talking about? What is Rumi telling us about love? What are some insights that we can gather and that we can apply to our lives based upon the teachings of Rumi? Anybody like Rumi? Oh my goodness, she's just amazing. As you can just feel in his words, his heart when he speaks. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's happening next week, right here. So thank you. Thank you for being here again today. Well, I think, gosh, you got anything else?
No, just thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Just
Thank you.
gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, everyone who helped to put this together today. It takes a village to create this on Sunday morning. Thank you, Kailani, on sound, and thank you, our, while this is happening, Marlene is communicating with people around the world who are watching our service today. So thank you, Marlene. All right, so we'll say the prayer for protection, and then why don't we join hands after that, and we'll sing the peace song. So please stand if you like, and let's pray the prayer for protection together. It goes like this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you for being here today. Bless you.